the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 5th of March, 2021. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Mr. Michael Miles, who is a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections in the Cayman Islands. He's a candidate for the electoral district of Prospect. He's in the studio this morning. I just want to let you know this is a paid spot. So Mr. Miles will be laying out his manifesto, the things that he would like to see accomplished, what his vision is for the Cayman Islands. We're going to do that for the first part of the show, and he will also be opening up the phone lines because he wants to hear from you, the people of the Cayman Islands. So without any further ado, Mr. Miles, good morning. Welcome to For the Record, and congratulations on your nomination as a candidate for the electoral district of Prospect.
Thank you, sir. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I appreciate the listening audience tuning in. It's been a phenomenal ride. That's what all I can say. It's been a blessing. I've been now engaging with the community in a formal role as a candidate since I think August. So it's been phenomenal. So I appreciate you inviting me on the show.
Okay, before we get on to your five main strategic goals, I'd like you to just talk a little bit about nomination day and the persons who nominated you as a candidate.
I've had long-time friends who are like family to me. Bonnie Anglin is one of my best friends. She's one of my nominators. I believe, her and I have done so much together. We were going to do this probably, in 2017. And, we decided that, it's just not the right time. Mm-hmm. So she's been a phenomenal confidant as well. So she's a nominator. Casey Glidden, is a phenomenal friend and confidant of our family. And those two folks nominated me, and, they signed, my document was signed weeks ago.
Couldn't wait for nomination day.
Yeah, it was signed weeks ago. I actually didn't go into nomination day with an entourage of people because we've been developing a plan for the last 4 years, and it was just about getting, Bonnie and Casey to sign the document, and they signed that, I would say 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I got the pictures made, and I was set. My wife and I did nomination day together. My wife is my campaign manager, and she's done a phenomenal job of doing that. She's kept me in order and you know, kept me before people and kept our household in order. And I can't thank her enough for doing that, because, you know, I mean, I'm out of the house quite often, and, you know, I have a 7-year-old that adores me and, you know, 3 other kids that, you know, that value my time. So, you know, with her working a full-time job and managing our household, I know it's been tough on her. So, you know, she's picked up the slack, and also managing my entire campaign. She sets all of this stuff up, gets me before the media, books my time, keeps my social media going, gives me every Saturday. I'm out canvassing. I mean, I canvass for, I don't know, probably 6 hours every Saturday. So, you know, she gives me that, you know, the freedom, you know, and certainly peace of mind that I can be out there and not feel guilty that I'm ignoring my family. Cooks dinner, makes sure that, you know, that we are sitting down to have dinner just about every day. So, I mean, I think with my 2 nominators, with her, the blessings from my mother, a lot of close friends and confidants, you know, here I am.
Okay. Now, Mr. Miles, you're no stranger to the people of the Cayman Islands. You have been involved in government. You've been involved in civic organizations as well. Tell the people of the Cayman Islands, you know, about your background.
You know, I'm a social worker. I've been involved. I think it's about 28 years. You know, sometimes I lose track. I put 25 plus years on most bios, you know, that I send out that people want to know more about me. But I've been, you know, involved in social development, working with vulnerable families and youth for about 28 years. 15 of that I've worked for government. I've worked for 4 different entities in government, all to do with working with our people, our children, our families. My last stint in government was 6 years. I spent 6 years in the Ministry of Education, working with our most vulnerable children, working across every school in Cayman. My title was at-risk coordinator for vulnerable children and families, and I carried that task out with a lot of heart, with humbleness, because to do that job, you have to be humble, because there's so many things you can't resolve. And I push the boundaries, because I believe that people need a fighter. People need someone on their side that not just talks about hope, OC, but demonstrates hope. And hope isn't about just putting it up on a billboard or, you know, coming into meetings and talking about it, but pushing the envelope. There's not a morning or night that I don't go to bed that I'm always thinking about how do I make our country better. Because so much has been given to me. You know, I grew up on Shaden Road, Mirror Street, you know, where we had a community. People looked after me. I wasn't supposed to go to college because of where I was raised. I defied the odds and went to college, and I had the blessing of a phenomenal mother who worked 3 jobs to make sure that I was taken care of along with my siblings. You know, she raised her siblings, her nieces and nephews, and have turned around and raised grandchildren and other people's children. So she's been my hero for many, many years, and probably will continue to do that. My daughters adore her. But I've also had a lot of mentors and confidants like, you know, Gilles Seymour, Winston Chung, Jocelyn Morgan, Everton Edwards, Carl Brown from Jamaica. A lot of people who have invested a lot of time in me have, you know, given me the opportunity to rise and become a leader. I played for the national program, the football national program, for 20 years. Wow. So, I mean, since I was about 8, I was a national I was a national team player. I was flown all over the world to play, and in many international competitions representing Cayman. But I've also been blessed by a lot of really great teachers. Richard Marshall comes to mind, have been my teacher since I was in Georgetown Primary School. My principal was my first football coach. Moved here, you know, probably 40 to 50 years ago. Have raised a lot of us. I mean, I came up through the Pee Wee League, which he managed. Christine Guilfoyle, Miss Lumsden, Leonora Lumsden, who was, you know, one of the most dominant teachers in my life when I was in, between years 4 and 6 in Georgetown Primary School. So there's, a lot of things that I have done, OC, have been on the backs of a lot of great people. So I appreciate, all of the things that I've given back. I don't take those things lightly, because all of those things have been given to me.
Mm-hmm. So when you speak of hope and the fact that hope is more than just having it on a billboard, what you're saying to the people of the Cayman Islands, and in particular the constituents of Prospect, is that you have done it. You have the hands-on ability because you have worked within the community.
Absolutely. OC, one of the things that I most often share with people is that I am not a politician. The expectations from me is higher. I want to be held accountable. I've always been held accountable, from my mother to certainly my wife and my children, to close friends. I, at the end of the day, want to ensure that my integrity stays intact. I never tell people something that I can't do or will not do. I don't need a vote that bad that I'm going to walk around and bribe folks to do that. I always say to folks, vote for me based on my record, based on the passion that I bring to this, based on my heart, based on I will do whatever it takes in order to ensure that every child in this country gets the best education, but also gets the best opportunity. One of the things that we always talk about is our children are the future, but it's most often never demonstrated. We throw a lot of money at a lot of things, and in no particular fashion. We build big schools. I just seen the price tag for John Gray High School coming in at a whopping $75 million for the first phase. By the time it's all said and done, we would probably spend $150 million on that. Clifton Hunter cost us a great deal. But the education isn't as good, and we know that. We've lowered the standards, and we justify why we've done certain things. And we've politicized it. What I want people to have a clear understanding is that's not how I function. How I function is, here's what it is for me. Let's spend money based on an outcome, not on an output, not an activity, and not on optics. I don't need a photo op. What I want to do is make sure that children are challenged, and they are and they have expectations, and that parents are engaged in all of what we offer as a government.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to return to that strategic goal that you're now talking to, which is education.
Sure.
Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with candidate Mr. Michael Miles, will continue after this short commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Vincent Garvin, 1917-1995. Captain Vincent Garvin attained the position of Master Mariner at the age of 32. He was a long-time merchant marine captain who provided jobs for many Caymanians and sailed until he was in his 70s. He was married for 50 years to Ernette and Nella Nee Ebanks, and the two had 3 children. He was a loving father and family man who also raised his wife's niece and nephews. Captain Vincent was known for his generosity. He always sent clothing and toys not only to his own children, but to many others in the Mount Pleasant community. He was also respected by his crew for giving to the poor in foreign countries to which he sailed. Tragically, he was murdered only 6 years after retiring from sea.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
We are telling you ahead of time, giving you the heads up to get ready. The Black Tie Affair with a circus twist. Step right up. The annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Hotel Ballroom. Step right up. Support the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving life. The ambience of a circus affair. Tickets are limited, tickets are precious. Get your tickets from Rotary Central members. Go online to Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation Facebook pages. Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation. Rotary opens opportunity.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today, it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It's my pleasure to have in the studio with me Mr. Michael Miles, who is a candidate in the April 14th, 2021 general elections. He's a candidate standing in the electoral district of Prospect. So, Mr. Miles, talking about education, the days when politicians would promise you, we're going to set up a technical school, we're going to set up a training program, we're going to put a community center in your district. We in the Cayman Islands have become so sophisticated, and our demands, our interests are so much higher that you have to go beyond that these days. Let's talk about education and your view.
Education certainly is a passion of mine, but like I was telling you when we were in break, I'm a social worker. I'm a social worker to the bone. I love it. I've been in social services for 28 years, but I've just done it in different environments. Education is one of the environments. For the last 10 years, I've been in education. 6 of that, like I've shared with you in the listening public. I've been I've worked in the Ministry of Education, directly working in all 14 schools and managing resources for our most vulnerable. By the time I left education, we had identified almost 600 youngsters that would find it challenging to make it through our public school system. To counter what challenges that they were doing, what I did was I put resources in place. When I got into the Ministry of Education in 2010, the biggest complaint from parents and the community, just the wide community, was there are too many kids on the street at 3 o'clock. I took that back to the ministry, of course. I hear what I always hear. We don't have any money. I grew up in an after-school program. I played football. Like I've told you, I've played football for 20 years for this country, from a peewee level to an international level for 20 years. This country have provided me the access to be respected through football, to get my education through football. That's how I got my Bachelor of Arts in social work. I started off on a fundraising initiative. When the Ministry of Education said to me, we don't have the money, I said, how much do I need for you to match it? They said, well, probably about 200,000. So I raised 200,000 and we implemented a national after-school program, right? The extended after-school program was a program that I created out of thin air. I looked at what the U.S. was doing, from the Boys and Girls Club of America to the YMCA, and I created a program based on that. That program ended up hiring almost 100 young people to be staff, and from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We started off with 60 students going to sports activities in January. Sorry, it was in April of 2013 to June. When we opened that program back up, all I did was diversify programs to include things like music and archery and dance and so forth. 900 children showed up at John Gray, and at the time John Gray and Clifton Hunter were all in Georgetown. Now that program we have extended. By the time I left the ministry, I had raised almost $5 million in private and public funding, and the program is just about in every public school. Okay. Right? So the YMCA now manages that program. It now has long-term funding. But no one knew that I wrote 300 letters to every organization in Gaiman to raise 200,000, because it was the only way that education and the Ministry of Health would match it, right? Or the Ministry of Sports and Youth would match it. So we were able to implement that program. So a lot of folks know me from education, but behind the scenes, my job has always been to sit with a parent who needs indigent insurance and advise them on how to do that, or to get a therapist, or to help a parent understand why their child isn't learning, and put those things in place at a school level, but also spend the opportunity of guiding a parent to where there are free after-school programs, or free opticians. When I left the ministry, I had a long list of opticians, doctors, pharmacists, that all I needed to do was make a call, and everybody was donating services, because 3/4 of the kids that I worked with in the public schools, and I worked with hundreds of children, didn't have health insurance, right? So I have taken what didn't exist, and I created the behavior and education support team that included social workers, police officers, and education, all around, sitting around a table, trying to resolve how to meet the child's needs. People say, well, why police, Michael? Because the police department has a front row seat to the majority of our children's lives. They're the ones that are responding to domestic disputes, or they see the kids in the community, and we don't tap into that resource. So as I was putting BEST together, they came to the table. Social workers were around the table because quite often there's silos between all government entities, and I wanted to tear down those silos to make sure that our children and our families receive the best possible support.
Okay, we have about a minute and a half before we go to a break. We can touch on the subject of cost of living, because I know you have concerns and you have views about the high cost of living in the Cayman Islands as well.
Absolutely. You know, everybody knows that the cost of living is high. I don't want to get into the specifics of why it's high, but I believe that how we bring down the cost of living is that we have to start looking at how do we reduce government expenditure, right? So there are a number of things that we can do. So we have to start to look at things like needs assessment unit, the police department, the prison system, the court system. All of these are areas that we are pumping loads and loads of money into. Millions of dollars are going into the police department. Why? Crime is high. And when crime gets high, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So we're hiring more police officers. We're buying more trinkets and toys for them. What if we reduce the government expenditure on these things and pump that into education, to things like healthcare? We spend almost $100 million in indigent healthcare. It is ballooned through the roof. The majority of parents can't afford healthcare. Hence, cost of living goes up. Our grocery stores are topped out, right? The majority of people are complaining that, you know, I used to be able to go into the grocery store and spend $300 and get 2 carts full. Now everything have gone up because all government is doing with a lot of these, all of these costs. That's $75 million at John Gray is passed on to Hurley's and Kirk's and all of the different vendors out there. Well, they're not absorbing that cost. They're passing that cost off on us, right? So we need to be able to control cost. We all know what the problem is. I want to make sure that we can focus on tangible solutions, not pie-in-the-sky stuff, right? Anybody can come up with these very well laid out pie-in-the-sky stuff that no one is going to enforce. But how do we get as many people off of our welfare system? We're spending $60 million now a year, and that's just government. Then we have ARC. We have Meals on Wheels. We have Resilience came on. We have Rotary. We have a lot of organizations that are spending a lot of money on feeding and clothing children. What if we can reduce that, reprioritize that same money, and move it into different areas? We can reduce the cost of living.
Okay, folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock. We go to the news. When we return, we will continue the conversation with candidate for the electoral district of Prospect in the upcoming April 14th, Mr. Michael Miles. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
It's Frozen Food Month at Foster's, and we've got hot specials on your frozen favorites.
For those who like it sweet, we have Ben & Jerry's ice cream, 16 ounces, $4.59 each, save $2.40.
Looking for an easy gluten-free meal? Well, we've got Cauliflower pizzas, selected varieties, $5.99 each, save $4.70. And we have Tucson tamale, handmade tamales, only $5.99, save $5.60.
Price is good until the 17th of March, 2021. Foster's, better prices because we care.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news,
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. All candidates in the upcoming general election get the green light from the Elections Office. Details from Radio Cayman's April Cummings.
Nomination submissions from all 50 of those seeking candidacy in the general election have now been evaluated for eligibility. The due diligence checks conducted by the Elections Office found that all of the candidates nominated on Monday, March 1st met the qualifications in the Cayman Islands Constitution, and no candidate met the disqualification criteria. The Supervisor of Elections has deemed that all those who submitted nominations are eligible to run for office. As such, elections are being contested in all electoral districts, as at least 2 candidates are running in each. The notices of contested elections were published on Thursday, March 4th on elections.ky, including candidates' names, the locations and times of voting at the polls, as well as the time ballots will be counted. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
The Health Services Authority expands the COVID-19 vaccine criteria. CIGTV's Simon Boxall has more.
Beginning Friday, May 5th, all persons in the Cayman Islands will be eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine clinic is located at the Owen Roberts International Airport and is open from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. While those in Stage 3 will need to follow the letter-day system, anyone in Stage 1 or Stage 2 may come at any time. Updated information and details of the vaccine stages is always available from hsa.ky. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee comments on the news.
It's really great that we've now opened up the vaccination program to Stage 3. So as you'll see from the Health Service Authority, the hsa.ky website, as from Friday, the 5th of March, stages 1, 2, and 3 are open for people to become vaccinated, which means that anybody who's legally and ordinarily resident can come forward. This also means that you don't need to bring any evidence of a particular illness that you may be suffering from. You can just come forward and have the vaccination, although you still will need to provide evidence of your status as being legally and ordinarily resident. In terms of that would be a passport demonstrating a work permit or other permit, or your Caymanian status. That would be a driver's license or your passport or other similar document to evidence that you are legally landed if you're a visitor or you have a legal right to stay in Cayman for a minimum of 6 months.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. Demonstrators are back on the streets of Myanmar despite the increasing use of deadly force by the police. The UN says 38 people were killed on Wednesday. Funerals for some of the dead have been taking place. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights says there are distressing reports of continued violations that may amount to war crimes in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region. Michelle Bachelet says her office wants to be granted access to investigate reports of atrocities and highlighted incidents of sexual violence and extrajudicial killings. Lufthansa says it's lost more than $8 billion last year as coronavirus restrictions grounded much of its fleet. Europe's largest carrier says it expects demands for its flight to be between 40% and 50% of their pre-pandemic level this year. The Duchess of Sussex has suggested that the British royal family has been perpetuating falsehoods about her and Prince Harry. In a clip from a forthcoming interview with Oprah Winfrey, Meghan said what she called the firm should not expect her to be silent. The Irish Foreign Minister Simon Coveney has said Britain is a partner the EU simply can't trust. It comes after London said it would unilaterally extend the period during which food supplies to Northern Ireland are exempt from certain types of paperwork in breach of Brexit agreements. On the eve of the first ever papal visit to Iraq, Pope Francis has said he'll be making the journey as a pilgrim of peace. In a video call, he told Iraqis that after years of war in their country, he would ask God for reconciliation. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Commencement at the University College of the Cayman Islands is being moved to spring, in line with more traditional practices in other countries. The spring date will allow graduating students to be part of the university's celebration of their accomplishments. UCCI's 2021 commencement ceremony will be taking place on Saturday, 24th April 2021, 7:30 p.m. at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. Application deadline for graduating students to apply for graduation is Friday, the 12th of March 2021. For all the information on Commencement 2021 and to access the graduation form, you can visit www.edu.ky/graduation.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
Calling all gamers.
Practice play is over.
Get ready for 2 days of
non-stop competition, fun, and excitement.
NetGeeks Media is proud to present
the return of the Caribbean's #1 esports event and gaming convention,
Gamers Bay 5. Now celebrating our 5th anniversary, Gamers Bay is going down March 27th and 28th at the John Gray Gymnasium.
If you think you have what it takes, you can compete for over $10,000 in cash and prizes. Compete head-to-head in titles such as Fortnite, Super Smash Bros., Call of Duty Cold War, and FIFA 20.
See and try the latest game consoles and virtual reality headsets. Lots of free play for PC gamers, console gamers, and VR of all ages.
Special guest influencers will be in attendance.
For more information and to register yourself or a team, visit gamersbaycayman.com.
Proudly sponsored by NetGeeks Media, Domino's, Pepsi, Enterprise Cayman, C3 Pure Fiber, Department of Tourism, Ministry of Education, Youth Services Unit, Kimpton Seafire, Radio Cayman, Simply Computers, and Suzuki.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Hey, top of the morning to you. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 80 degrees. Relative humidity is 74%. The barometric pressure 29.93 inches and rising. The wind is west at 3 knots. Overnight low temperature was 75 degrees. Synopsis indicate light to moderate northeasterly winds and slight seas, and isolated showers expected over the next 24 hours as a cold front becomes stationary over the Cayman area. Radar images show isolated showers over the Cayman area moving southeast. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 40% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s today. Your winds will be north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Some swells are likely from the north at 2 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will fall to the low 70s. Winds will be northeasterly at 5 knots or less, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Today's low tide will occur this morning at 9:41, high tide this afternoon at 2:37, and a low tide again tonight at 9:40. The sun will set this evening at 6:31 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:41. And the outlook is calling for light and variable winds and smooth seas through Saturday morning as the cold front weakens over the Cayman area.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we're more than just an insurance company, we're family. To learn more about our first-in-class group health and employee benefit solutions, please visit Pan American Life Insurance Company of the Cayman Islands at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304. You can also visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. Ultimately, taking action is the surest way to achieve results.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, I believe life is constantly testing us for our level of commitment, and life's greatest rewards are reserved for those who demonstrate a never-ending commitment to act until they achieve. This level of resolve can move mountains, but it must be constant and consistent. As simplistic as this may sound, it is still the common denominator separating those who live their dreams from those who live in regret.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. Heavy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway. Delays expected on the Linford Pearson Highway and off the Linford Pearson Highway and Agnes Way. Some sections of Crew Road steady, other sections moderate and steady traffic coming from the Butterfield roundabout, heading towards the Industrial Park area. Traffic is flowing at a good pace on Edward Street. Shedden Road not looking too bad, as flowing nicely. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, moderate flow of traffic. Steady traffic on Huldah Avenue. To the Eastern Shamrock Road. Traffic further up on Shamrock Road flowing moderately, and further down, closer to the Linford Pearson Highway, steady traffic. On the Westway Road, traffic is moving along moderately in both directions, especially from the Ritz. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive, and that's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report. And remember to use your indicators. Drive safe, Cayman Islands.
Things just got a bit hotter on island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
We, as Caymanians, live by our choices and by using our voice to bring about change. On April 14th, Cayman and Georgetown West holds the power to turn the page to a more hopeful, more empowered chapter in our country's leadership. My fellow Caymanians, my name is Perlina Magal-Lumsden, and I'm proud to be your candidate for Georgetown West. I hope that you will join our movement and use your voice to vote for me, a candidate that will work tirelessly to put you, your families, your education, your employment, and our environment first.
Getting vaccinated is an important part of keeping our islands protected against COVID-19. All persons who are scheduled to be vaccinated must present a photo ID which shows you are legally and ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands or have permission to stay for 6 months or more. Accepted IDs include a Cayman Islands driver's license, passport or voter's card, a global citizen's certificate, a work permit grant letter, extension letter or job letter from a local company, or a non-Caymanian passport which shows the holder has been landed with permission to be on island for 6 months or more. Essential workers must also present their work ID to show proof of employer. Anyone who has already received a first dose may still receive the second and must show their vaccination card. For more information on the vaccine program, visit www.hsa.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me is Mr. Michael Miles, who is a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He's a candidate in the electoral district of Prospect. We have been discussing his 5 strategic goals. Those are education, the cost of living, health care, particularly mental health care as well, the environment, equality. He also wants to talk about the advisory district councils, the whole process of accountability, and how he would like to see the advisory district councils operate as well. Mr. Miles? We will remind our listening audience as well that they're now free to call in if they have any questions or any observations that they want to direct towards Mr. Michael Miles. This is only about him and his agenda. Anything else in general terms that you want to talk about personally, we can do that after the interview with Mr. Michael Miles. Over to you, Mr. Miles.
Yes, when just before the news came on, we were talking about cost of living, and I was saying, government has a responsibility to help our people live better lives, but I also believe that the private sector also has a responsibility as well, and as a government, we have to enforce that the private sector plays its part. Over the last 20 years, we've had major developments in this country. Developers have come in, they've put down hotels, condos. Most of these things the average Caymanian cannot afford. But they have not actually paid anything into our infrastructure. They haven't really contributed to our schools, to scholarships. They haven't contributed to our roads. So you have a developer who would come in, get a $25 million concession or a $20 million concession and some of them we don't even know how much they've gotten because it's now in this top secret, vault in the government. I believe that we have to be able to change the law that ensure that developers that coming in and building these things, we'd love for them to come in and contribute, but they also have to contribute to affordable housing. So, as a government, I would be supporting that government put up property where developers, if you're building a complex that one condo is valued at, between $500 and, $10 million, then we should be, then they should also be building affordable housing to ensure that our people can afford a house. Gone are the days where a person works hard, they've been studying their job, they've been good with their finances, but they still can't afford a house. So they have to rent for the rest of their lives. And the more that is the norm, the more frustrated I get, because I have children growing up in this country and they will not be able to afford property because the property value is way too high for the average Caymanian to reach, right? So cost of living, we have to bring that back down. Another thing is that developers have to contribute to education. If you're building whether it's an apartment complex or whether it is a commercial building, we have to ensure that Caymanians are getting jobs from that, but we also have to make sure that Caymanians are being trained. So therefore, we have to make sure that developers are contributing to our scholarship fund. Government should not just be footing the bill for our scholarship fund. Things like infrastructure. We can't continue to say that, well, all we need is just another road because we're bringing in more cars. So developers have to contribute to our sewage system. Roads are flooding. And every 4 years, what do we have? We have government putting a lot of tarp back down on the road. But infrastructure isn't changing. People are in bumper-to-bumper traffic. So how do we move that forward? It has to be where we're controlling development. It's too fast. Who are we developing for, right? So we have to start to look at, does this suit our country? Do we want a little Miami or New York or Chicago? Tourists isn't coming here for that. They come in here because they want to move away from that. So if they can't get to the beach for 2 hours because they're stuck in traffic, what do you think that's going to do to our tourism model, right?
So can we assume then that you're not one of those who subscribes to this whole theory of building the population of the Cayman Islands to 100,000 through unnatural means rather than just by increasing the population through
I think it's reckless. I think it's reckless. We have way too many Caymanians that are in the unemployment line. I told you earlier on. I'm in the know. I read reports from the Auditor General's reports to any reports that are printed on crime, education in this country. I've gone through every Auditor General report. I've gone through every education report. I've gone through every report from the prison system or the court system. Our people are being impacted by that. So let's say we bring in 100,000 people. We have maybe 30,000 Caymanians. We are going to be outnumbered. Yep. So where does that leave our people, right? Yeah, the government will be making their nice revenue, but then we take that same funding and we are now paying that off in welfare because now we can't get jobs. And the majority of our people are in and out of the court system and in and out of the prison system. I think it's wrong and I think it's reckless. I think what we need to do is ensure that our education system is the best in the world. That means we have to start to invest better, not just pump more money in it. In 2019, we spent, according to the last Auditor General's report, which was in 2019. I think it was in October 2019. We spent $86 million in education. By the time it's all said and done in the next year, that's going to be up to probably $100 million. Are we getting the result? Right? The results are dismal, and everyone knows that. I've been at Hope for 4 years. I've been in the private sector, right? So I've been in a private sector school, small school, 120 kids. We are one of probably 6 schools that have gotten a good on our last assessment. That's not done by, it's not shocking that Hope is doing well. We've planned. The kids are doing well, and we deal with some of the most challenging young people when it comes to things like learning and mental health, right? Because we're dealing with both at the same time. But our children are learning. 80% of Hope is Caymanian, right? So people know when their children come to Hope, we're going to take care of them. But I've been a part of a special organization like Hope where we push the envelope when it comes to education. We push the envelope when it comes to things like employment. A lot of our children, as in particular our seniors, they're in the field and we support them out there. But a lot of our kids are either moving on to tertiary education or they're moving on to the world of work because of preparation. And we can't do that from grade 12. We have to start doing that from grades 8, grades 9, or year 7, year 8, year 9. So there has to be a better plan when it comes to reducing cost of living. And if we can't get our children employed, if we can't get them to be purchasing homes, then who are we doing it for? The 100,000 people that may or may not come in and invest. We see investors coming in here, and this is where I think that we're setting our families up, we're setting our communities up, because what we're doing is creating an us against them. They see people get off a plane, buy a $2 million house, or living on public beach. Why wouldn't Caymanians be envious of that when they are stuck living paycheck to paycheck? So I'm not a proponent for this $100,000 or 100,000 population or nothing. I'm for smart development. Why aren't we looking at the tech organization? So we're not putting on concrete and mortar. Why are we dredging our mangroves that protect our island, right?
Our ecosystem.
Like why are we doing that? Well, see, I'm pretty sure that you've read it, because I know that you're a pretty well-read person. When I read the National Energy Policy, I was excited, because for the first time, the government had put out a document that I believe was a breadcrumbs trail to success. Not only is it something that we can do over the next 20 years, that we can reduce our carbon footprint and at least try to get us off of fossil fuel, we can create jobs from this. Solar, I run a training center, and I'm still waiting to, people like James Whitaker and I have been talking about how do we improve our economy? How do we get people back to work? Well, if government will manage off-reg better, improve. We have only implemented 2% in the last 4 years of the National Energy Policy. And look at the ripping up of their environment. Look at the fin development. I mean, that's chaotic, right? That's going to impact us for the next 50 years. And why? Because a developer wants to make $3 million in a condo. So they just allow them to come in and let's dredge, everything up, because it's $100,000 or bust. And that's ruthless at this point in time. And I'm absolutely not for that.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I want you to talk about healthcare and in particular mental health care as well. Folks, please stay tuned to conversation with Mr. Michael Miles, candidate in the upcoming April 14th general election. He's a candidate in the electoral district of Prospect, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Water Authority would like to advise customers that its main office on Redgate Road will close early on Friday. That's Friday, the 12th of March, for a staff function. The cashiers will close at 11:30 a.m. and customer service will close at noon. The offices will reopen with regular operating hours on Monday, 15th of March. The Water Authority's Camelbrack office will remain open for regular hours. The authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and thank you for your understanding.
Why work with a Sariba agent? We can tell you that those letters represent a proven understanding of the real estate market in the Cayman Islands. But it also means so much more than that. Our trained Sariba agents are committed to ethics, integrity, and excellence of practice. It's all about confidence, knowing you are working with a qualified Sariba agent. As members of Sariba, your trust is our promise. To find a Sariba agent today or to search thousands of listens, visit Sariba.com. Sariba, the mark of excellence in real estate.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Mr. Michael Miles, who is the candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections here in the Cayman Islands. He is a candidate in the electoral district of Prospect. We have been talking about his 5 strategic goals that he wants to concentrate on. They are education, cost of living, health care, in particular mental health care, the environment, equality, and also, this one isn't one of the 5, but also talk about the advisory district councils and holding government as well as members of parliament accountable. Yes. Mr. Miles.
I want to touch on the district council because it's the one. It's one of those things, as you mentioned. It is something that I will be doing in my first 100 days. I've canvassed all the way through Prospect. I have met, I believe, 99.9% of everyone who lives in Prospect. If I haven't met you, please give me a call, 939-1301, or you can email me at electmichaelmiles@gmail.com. But I have knocked on every door, and the challenges that our people are dealing with is the lack of accountability for MPs. We've just seen it in why we're having this early election of the things that have happened. Mm-hmm. I believe that we have to implement district councils. We have the law. We have a guidance document. MPs must be held accountable by their constituents. Every person, every family, anyone that I have met on the road in Prospect, I have said to them, district councils is where I'm going to pursue supporting constituents in this. So it is paramount for me because I want to be held accountable, but I also want to plan with people. You know, OC, every program, every initiative, every organization that I've gotten involved in, I've worked with a team of people. I've worked with a lot of phenomenal young people to older folks who have provided good advice and strategy in order for us to implement good program. A district council is that. Everybody gets an opportunity to input their opinion. But I believe that Prospect is so unique that we can get so many phenomenal people contributing to the priorities of the constituency. We can have regular meetings where people can come and voice their challenges. I just showed you a video where one of the major issues in Prospect is flooding. Well, after writing the NRA a few weeks ago to find out that multiple reports have been sent to government about flooding and how to contain it, how to manage it, people's homes are being impacted. They're being the value in their homes are being decreased. And every year, people are going through the same fear. When will this end? Their children can't go out to school. I met with one family who have described some of the most horrific things that she's had to deal with her family. Her house is depreciating, but also it's rotting. Then she's having to deal with scorpions, snakes, frogs. She's had to deal with the muck that comes with it. People's garbage is floating into her house. People's garbage is floating into her yard. So her children don't go out to play anymore, right? All of these are things that we have to deal with as a community. And as I've said to Prospect, I cannot go door to door every single week, but I can definitely meet everyone at one location and we can sit down and plan and implement what we want for Prospect. So if we prioritize 5 things, in our community of 1,346, let's get busy, right? I'm about rolling up my sleeves and getting to the meat of it. I don't like big, long speeches, and I don't like to talk about things that I can't implement. Yes, I'm a dreamer, and I am hopeful, but I'm a worker, and I'm a doer, and I'm an implementer. That's who I am.
Now, you mentioned 1,346, but that's just the registered voters.
That's registered voters,
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, Prospect have thousands of people,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Prospect have a lot of folks. But 1,346 people will have a voice, and I'm sure that they're going to be bringing their families to those meetings, so everybody has a voice, not just the most wealthiest parts of Prospect. And, Prospect has been phenomenal because it has a solid middle class. But a lot of those people, their homes are being impacted, and they need someone who is going to give them a voice. And I've said, let's all have a voice. I don't want to go into Parliament with Michael Miles. I want to go into Parliament with 6,000 people that's behind me, right? That's how I want to go into Parliament. I want to go and say to 18 other MPs, and whoever, regardless of who makes up the government, 6,000 people are saying that this is what we want in Prospect. Let's get it done. So you tell me what our budget is, and let's get this stuff done. But I believe that we need to stop talking about it at this point. Everybody know what the problems are. I don't need to go into the gory details of the failures of government anymore. That's very well documented. What I'd like to do is focus the district council in producing how do we solve the problems in Prospect and how do we take politics out of it. Like I told constituents, I don't want to walk around Prospect giving out chicken or beef or ham or turkeys. That's not how Michael Miles does stuff, right? I want us to be able to develop a democratic elected district council where it can turn into a nonprofit and we contribute to that. And if an elderly person needs groceries, it comes through the district council, not me particularly. But I'm going to visit her along with the community. If a child needs care and the mom or father or family can't afford that, we prioritize that as a constituency, as a community, because you'll see, as I've told you, I grew up in Central. People took care of each other. People looked after each other. And that's what I believe we can turn back into. And that's the hope that I want to create. And that's the hope with every program that I've ever implemented in the last 28 years of my career. It have involved people getting involved with it. Because here's another thing. I am not a politician, and I'm not staying in this for long. I am not a career politician. I want to do other things. I want to travel. I want to see different things. I have different goals. But I want to make sure that there is enough people doing this, enough engagement, that regardless if I'm in politics or not, the Prospect District Council, the Red Bay District Council, the Georgetown East District Council are functioning. They are moving things, and they don't need a politician to tell them what to do, but they're moving things forward.
On that point, I had the opportunity to listen to a very prominent politician in the United States, and she was talking about getting candidates to run, and the sometimes the refrain that she would get from persons was, I have this doing, I have that doing, I want to do this, I want to do that. And she said to them, yes, you're exactly the type of person that we want. We want persons who have other options that they can, and you spoke about the other options that you have and the other things that you want to do, and not be a career politician.
That's not who
and that's what she was talking about. We want people with other options so that they're not coming into this because they're looking for the salary and for a job because they have no other options. I believe we have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. What do you want to say to Mr. Miles?
Miles, you don't know me, but I've heard of you and I've seen you, and I can't vote for you. But O.C. knows me, but I just heard you saying that you don't want to walk around giving a chicken and a ham and whatever, but let me tell you, that's what the people want. That's their most mentality, because I've spoken to a lot in the district that I'm from, and they're telling me, who can't give me nothing? I'm not voting for them. I said, well, I don't want them to give me no fridge or no talker or no stove. Thank God I'm not rich, but I'm not starving. I can buy. I have to squeeze the dollar till it holler because we one time.
I like that one.
I don't want stuff like that. You know what I want? To make who gonna make the country better, for me to live in till I die. I don't know how long I can live, and my 2 kids can get jobs, because right now I have a brilliant daughter that meet the Dean list and went to America in 2005 to USF, and she haven't returned to live because she's a manager and she's not American, but she got papers and everything, which she did good. And she's very smart, but she cannot come back here because, like she says, she ain't coming back here to be a teller, what she used to do part-time in Butterfield or whatever, because she have every qualification. She got master, she got bachelor, she got everything, and she's not going to get the type of job that she is qualified for. So she's not coming to work for less than that, because that's why she went to college and get a good education. If she wanted to just come to be a cashier or whatever, she wouldn't go to college and do hard studies and meet Dean's list. So what I am asking anybody that get elected is just to make Cayman better, that our Cayman children can get the jobs for the qualification that they have. I have a smart son. He's computer literate. He can fix any phone, any device, whatever, and he was working Digicel, and they pushed him out for nothing, and everybody was mad because one lady that have a business and all, up the other day she called him, she said that 5 people came and worked on her phone before him, and they couldn't get it fixed, and all now it not start working since when Digicel ATM or the machine where you put credit was down out in countryside. 3 people went work on it and couldn't get it up, and he got it up, but he now don't even have a job, and he was 31 the second this month, and cannot get a job as a Caymanian. Everywhere he go, they push him out because he too quiet. He look like me, but he don't have mouth like me. He like his father, quiet and whatever. My daughter look like her father, but she got mouth like me, but then she now is hard as me neither, because she's a Virgo and I'm a Leo rule, but if you push her to the witch, she can tell you where you get which bus stop to get off at. Like I tell him, I ain't asking for no handouts.
Caller, I'm going to have Mr. Michael Miles. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we still have 2 more calls on hold, but I want to give you an opportunity to respond to that caller as well, Mr. Miles. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier.
Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers and the motoring public of traffic diversions in the Anthony Drive area on Sunday 7th March from midnight to 8 a.m. to facilitate ongoing infrastructure upgrades in the area. Anthony Drive, Andy Drive, Morton Road and Holmes Turn will be closed with local access only. Traffic will be diverted through Oak Mill Street, July Street and Hawkins Drive. Motorists are advised to avoid driving in the area during the works. If motorists must use the road, they are encouraged to drive with caution and follow all traffic signs to ensure their and the authorities' staff safety. Customers on Andy Drive, Morton Road, Holmes Turn, William Drive and a portion of Anthony Drive will experience service interruption between midnight and 4 a.m. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it undertakes these works and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have Mr. Michael Miles in the studio. He's a candidate in the electoral district of Prospect for the April 14th general election. Two callers on hold. Mr. Miles is going to respond to the last caller, and then we're going to take the two calls as well. Mr. Miles.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank the caller. I understand the caller's pain because as a dad who've had a daughter or a graduate who've come back after having a government scholarship that we invested over $100,000, couldn't get a job either. So I know exactly what the caller's going through. I have had family members that have been on government scholarships, couldn't come back because there was no job. Here's the proposal, OC. We have to ensure that the silos in government are torn down. Education and the Ministry of the Ministry of Education, the Department of Education, UCCI, ICCI, we have to make sure that all of these areas are communicating. Another thing is we created work. We said that immigration wasn't working for our people, but work still don't know how many Caymanians are out there off to school. We should be creating a database that every child that's on a government scholarship or a scholarship from another entity in this country have to register in that, because work should be going in that and saying, okay, we have 50 people overseas. Here are the degrees that they're doing. If OC owns a company, we should be putting you on notice. We should be saying, Michael Myers is coming back in 2 years. You have to hire him because he has a qualification, right? Therefore, the people that you have in work permits, we are only going to be giving you a work permit up until a certain time. After that, Mr. Myers have to slip into a position. We don't have that because work doesn't know who we actually have out there, right? Another thing that don't happen is that work don't know anything about education. Work understands everything that in terms of which jobs, which industries are blowing up, which industries are hot. Why doesn't work have the seat on the National Education Council, right? So those are the things that I would be implementing or at least pushing to implement when I reach government.
Okay. Let's go to the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Over to Mr. Miles. What do you have for him?
Hello.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Moderator. And good morning to Mr. Miles. You know,
Morning, Mr. Billy.
If there is one word that I think that can describe what Mr. Miles has been talking about this morning and has been talking about for years and years and years, it's the word hope. Hope for a new Cayman, a different Cayman. Hope for equal opportunity for Cayman. Hope for the recognition.
Caller, do you have a question for Mr. Miles? Because this is his paid time, and we have another caller queued up. So if you have a question or a comment, this is his time.
I'm giving you.
Okay.
I'm giving you a comment. Because I do talk with a lot of things with Mr. Miles and the different programs he's on. Any questions I need to ask him in the past I've asked, I've had. Mr. Miles has implemented all of these Caymanian benefiting concepts on education, on helping people to get out of the rut that they maybe were in, of helping some of those considered unemployable to become employable, and to educate people on how, once you're earning your funds, Mr. O.C., we've talked about this, personal financial management. These are the things that are needed to avoid a lot of people from going into debt, from losing their homes, destroying families. The amount of things that I could talk with his work and what he's done, and the obstacles that have been put in his way by some people in the political circle as well as in the civil service. And it's hope that there is hope for tomorrow. There's hope that we can see a Cayman with a government that stops being the persecutor of Caymanians and becomes someone that protects and someone that guides Caymanians and have that new form of governance. And I believe that the people in the district in which he's running will be sensible and elect him for the future 7 generations to come.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Next caller, do you have a question for Mr. Miles? Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Miles. Good morning to Mr. Arnold and all. If any more guests there, yes?
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, Mr. Miles, I wish you best of luck in
Thank
this
you.
upcoming election, because you are a young Caymanian and you sound like you're on the right page.
Thank you, ma'am.
Education, it should be a passion for everyone that's out there, but we just don't need it in words. We need it in black. We can have do it, even though what we do for interview for job. We can have do a Dickinson after David so that we can hold him accountable. Because
I agree.
their words don't mean no more than up in that room up in there, or when they get to the they can all start running to the glass house, because that's the first their words mean anything.
I agree.
To get their salary at the end of the month.
Yeah. Absolutely agree with you.
I got a question to ask you, and regarding you being elected, because if you can, I wouldn't say assure us, but we need, like you said, policies in place that you can assure these is your intentions. What you, I am from the district of West Bay, and I could tell you I will campaign in West Bay to help promote you in Prospect, because like that, there's a one thing going on now where they say that the member for Prospect now, his mouth has been shut up since 4 years ago. He only can say yes when they say yes, and when they say no, then he can only say no. I don't know what happened to all his mouth that he had before he got in, because he was gonna move the sky out of the way and put it what he did right when before he got in, but the sky still closed up on him. Yeah. Right now, I spoke to Mr. O.C. a few months ago regarding the hospital policy. I don't know if you are aware of it, that we have a policy signed by our government that only we got the government sends each children off on scholarship to go where they want to go or where they feel is more beneficial to them. But we have a policy in place right now that in order for you to be able to come back as a medical student to do internship at George Hospital, you have to be going through University of West Indies. Why are we signing such a policy that if you only practice at the University of West Indies, you're the one who can come back. How many Caymanians are going to the University of West Indies?
Okay, caller, we'll have Mr. Michael Miles address that. We're going to take the last caller. We're going to ask you to be as brief as possible because this interview is going to end at 9 o'clock, and we want Mr. Michael Miles to have some wrap-up comments as well. Caller, good morning. Do you have a question for Mr. Miles?
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
And good morning to Mr. Michael Miles.
Good morning, ma'am.
This is Georgia Lee Banks.
Good morning, Miss Georgette.
My dear Michael, I have followed your career over the years, and to say that I am proud of you, that's putting it lightly. I am so proud of you, and I pray that God will help you to realize those things, plans that you have with His help. Don't ever forget to ask for God's help, wisdom, and knowledge. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Miss Georgette. It's a blessing. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, caller. Mr. Miles, wrap up. Final words that you want to say to?
OC1, I want to thank you for allowing me to do this. Certainly it's paid, but you're always a great host of this show.
Thank you.
I am all about our people. The goal for me is to honor our people. The goal for me is to work with our people. The goal for me is to be accessible. But the goal has always been is to ensure that I can represent Prospect and I can represent our country with honor and respect. And that means that this have to be driven by people. My mission has always been, let's drive it with people, because if we drive it with people, regardless of who's in the seat, people are going to deliver. So I'm hoping and praying that Prospect will nominate, respect the fact that they have the power, that they are really the MPs of this. My job is a servant, and that's how I look at it at this point. And I believe that with the folks in Prospect voting for me on April 14th, we will have a phenomenal opportunity to change this country around and to once again reestablish integrity in politics. It doesn't have to be so grotesque and dirty. It can be honorable, and it can be a part of it that people have a lot of the governing aspect of it. And that's what I want for Prospect. That's what I want for our entire country. I'm willing to work, OC, with anyone in this country who wants to move this country forward. And I want to work towards Caymanian advancement. Cayman has advanced. The Cayman Islands has advanced. Caymanians have not. And every strategic plan that I would put out there is going to be part of Caymanians advancing. So thank you for the listening audience. I appreciate you guys tuning in. OC, I appreciate you being the host of this show and giving me the opportunity to come in. I look forward to the next several weeks where I can come back and I can continue to share. And I'm going to be on other shows as well.
Yeah, and we can certainly say to those listeners who didn't get an opportunity to call in or who called in and we weren't able to accommodate them, that you will be on For the Record again on the, let me find the date now, the 8th of March.
Yeah.
The 8th of March, you'll be on from about 8:50 until 9:50. And on the 10th of March, he will be on again. 17th of March, he will be on, with me again as well. Month of April, he will be here also. So you will get an opportunity to hear more from Mr. Michael Miles as well. Folks, regular For the Record will begin after headline news at 9 o'clock. So please stay tuned. Phone lines will be open, and you can then call in and talk about anything that's fit to be discussed on the air. Please stay tuned For the Record. We'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the
best interests of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 283 COVID-19 tests on Thursday. All came back negative. There are currently 673 people in isolation, and more than 25,000 vaccines have been administered in the Cayman Islands. 8,800 people have completed both courses. Pope Francis has arrived in Iraq for the first ever papal visit there and his first international trip since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. COVID and security fears had made this his riskiest visit yet, but the 84-year-old insisted he was, quote, duty-bound. He will try to reassure the dwindling Christian community and foster interreligious dialogue, meeting Iraq's most revered Shia Muslim cleric. The Pope will also celebrate a mass at a stadium in Erbil in the north. And China's top lawmaking body has unveiled plans to ensure only, quote, patriots can govern Hong Kong as Beijing tightens its grip on the city with changes to the electoral system. The premier, addressing the National People's Congress, warned the world not to interfere. The move follows the imposition of a tough security law. Critics say Beijing is crushing dissent and removing the, quote, one country, two systems agreement it made with the UK. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Today, Friday, the 5th day of March 2021. Hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. If you're celebrating a birthday today, like Mr. Albert Forbes and his sister Lois Forbes, want to wish you a happy birthday. And for Albert and Lois, their uncle, Mr. Clarence Forbes, and his wife, Miss Joan Forbes in New York, extend a happy birthday greetings to both Albert and Lois this morning as well. Anyone else who's celebrating a birthday, we want to wish you a happy one, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and may the memories of your loved ones be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are infirmed and are at either a medical facility or at home, we want to wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, as you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Always someone there waiting to take your calls. This morning, again, whose voice is it? That beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Mr. Michael Miles wanted to also let you know, and I'm doing this on his behalf, that he will be having a meeting at the Seafarers Hall on March the 11th at 6:30 p.m. So you're invited to join him at a public meeting at the Seafarers Hall, March 11 at 6:30 p.m. as well. Like I said earlier, the phone lines are open now. Anything that is fit to be spoken about on radio, you can call in. Meanwhile, I will share with you the COVID-19 news and update as well. and there's a press release from the Health Services Authority. COVID-19 vaccination campaign opens to all of stage 3. All of stage 3. The Public Health Department announces the COVID-19 vaccine will now be available to all persons over the age of 16 starting today, Friday, the 5th of March, 2021. Persons will be vaccinated in alphabetical order, starting with surname A. Also, the latest published COVID-19 vaccination schedule is available at Public Health /coronavirus. So you can go onto their website and find the schedule as well. The release also goes on to say the COVID-19 vaccination program continues to administer dose 2 vaccine in conjunction with the latest rollout. And they have provided you also with the vaccination campaign changes and highlights. One highlight, COVID-19 vaccine will be available to all ordinary and legal residents over the age of 16. Bear in mind, ordinary and legally resident in the Cayman Islands. So you have to be basically ordinarily living here. This is where you spend most of your time. You work here, as well. Or if you retire, this is where you spend your time. And of course, legally resident here as well. So if you're here illegally, it doesn't appear as if you would be eligible for the vaccine at this point in time. But one thing to bear in mind is that the vaccine itself does not distinguish between who's legally resident and who's not legally resident on the island. So I would imagine that if you want to prevent the vaccine from spreading, you will also have to look at those persons who are not here legally, because they will still mingle with the public. As a matter of fact, many times I have in my tenure in immigration, when someone was found to be here illegally, you would hear comments like, "Oh, I thought that person was Caymanian. I've seen them around so long. I went to school with them," or whatever. So it is very difficult just by looking at someone to tell whether or not they're here legally or not. So I would imagine that maybe at some point in time, while we want to ensure that those who are legally here and are ordinarily resident here gets the vaccine, we will need to do something about those who are here illegally as well, because they pose just as much of a threat in terms of spreading the virus or catching the virus as anyone else. So I sort of got off cue there for a while, but I just needed to add that in there. Okay, the next bullet point is the vaccination clinic hours at Owen Roberts International Airport, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and from 1:30 to 4 p.m. Saturday. And from 1:30 to 4 p.m. On Saturdays, it is from 12 p.m. and 1:30 to 3 p.m. So I would imagine, 12 p.m. and 9 a.m. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and then from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Let me go over that as well, because I think I made a mess of that whole thing there. So the vaccination clinic hours at Owen Robert International Airport. And the reason that I made a mess of it is because I'm using an iPad and I have to keep sliding everything over, because if I try to fit it all on the screen, even with my 4 eyes, I'm having difficulty reading it. So Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and from 1:30 to 4 p.m. And then on Saturdays, it is 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and from 1:30 to 3 p.m. So Saturdays, it ends really at 3 p.m. as opposed to weekdays where it ends at 4 p.m. Okay? Advice as far as dose 1 is concerned. For dose 1, please fill out the consent form before arrival, and you can get that form off their website as well. If you fill it out in advance, it will save you some time, even though the process is really speedy there, but it will certainly save you some time if you have the form completed as well. Other point to remember, everyone must present photo identification to receive the vaccine and demonstrate that they are ordinarily and legally resident. So in order to do that, for example, you should be able to show that you have initial permission to remain in the islands for at least 6 months. So if you had any type of a temporary work permit, that would qualify you. It doesn't say that you have to have 6 months remaining in your passport to remain on the island, but you have the authority to remain in the island for at least 6 months, or if you have one for a year or 2 years, then that would help as well. The other bullet point is that any persons may come at any of the published clinic times for the following. So you can come at any time if you are a person who was in stage 1, group A, B, and C. You can go at any time, any of the published times. You can also go at any of the published times if you are a person in stage 2, group A, B, and C. And also you can go at any time if you are receiving dose number 2. You can go at any of the published times. I will repeat those again. You can go at any of the published clinic times if you are a person in stage 1, group A, B, and C, or a person in stage 2, group A, B, and C, or if you are a person who is receiving dose number 2. The next bullet point, persons who have received their first dose are reminded to get their second dose 21 days later or no longer than 12 weeks after the first dose. So you can't get it earlier than 21 days. You can get it after 21 days, and you can go up to 12 weeks. You should get it before 12 weeks have elapsed as well. Also, when receiving your dose, your second dose, you must also bring along your vaccination card reflecting the fact that you have received the first dose. So you must bring your vaccination card as well if you're coming for your second dose. I'm going to pause there for a commercial break. When we return, I will share more COVID-19 information with you, so please stay tuned.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio now, so the phone lines are open. Toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. I won't give you the email address because the laptop that I use for that is not with me at this point in time. But you certainly can WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show as well. What I have been sharing with you is the COVID-19 vaccination schedule and all of the reminders in terms of what you have to do and what you should bring with you when you're going for your vaccine. Before we went to the commercial break, I was pointing out that you were reminded that when you're receiving your second dose, you must also bring along your vaccination card reflecting the fact that you have received the first dose. The next point is that doctor's note and employer's letters are no longer required for stage 2. So there's a burden that has been lifted off of your shoulders. You no longer require a doctor's note or an employer letter for stage 2. Just go and you can get stage 2. Vaccination cards are not to be laminated. They are asking you, do not laminate your vaccination cards. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but I would imagine that if anything has to be written on that card, if it has a laminate on it, then it is impossible to write anything on that laminate. So do not, I repeat, do not laminate your vaccination card. Another point to remember is that persons 60 years and older will always be given priority. I will repeat that again. Persons 60 years and older will be given priority, will always be given priority. And here's an important point. Even if you live in Texas or you live in Missouri, and if you are here in the Cayman Islands, face masks must be worn. Face masks are required. So don't think that you're in Texas. Don't think that you're in Missouri and you can point out, just show up without a face mask because their governors have lifted any requirements to wear a face mask. You must have a face mask when you go for your vaccination as well. So I think that covers all of it. But the main point that was highlighted in this is that the vaccine is now available to all persons over the age of 16 starting today, and it is in alphabetical order, as well, for that. I think that basically covers everything in that regard. What else do we have? Have a release from the elections office. All electoral districts head to the polls. What they're saying is that in every electoral district, a poll will be taken. And if you listen to me on For the Record, on earlier shows, I explained to you when a poll would not be required as well. But I won't get into that now because we have two callers. So we're going to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Is that me, OC?
Yes, that's you. Sounds like you. Go right ahead, caller.
Just want to comment briefly. OC, no disrespect to Mr. Miles in any way, but I was listening to him. I was driving from Home Prospect this morning. I was listening to Mr. Miles, and I'm sure he has all good intentions. But, for the last 5 or 6 decades, I've been listening to politicians, preaching the same thing over and over. And up to this point, I haven't seen anything that has changed, right? And, the old people used to say, if you have something and it's working good, you leave it alone, right? And I have to give this government credit for what they have done with this COVID, especially the COVID. And, I've been talking to a lot of people lately, and a lot of Caymanians right now. I'm not saying all, I say a lot of them. They're happy. They're getting work. So their same words are to me, you know what? We're not troubling it. If it's working, we can leave it alone. So I just wanted to say that this morning, because like I said, no disrespect to Mr. Miles.
But caller, when you say if it's not working, you leave it alone. You're talking about the government machinery. Are you talking about the government machinery, or are you talking about the current composition, the current makeup of the Legislative Assembly?
No, what I'm saying is that I said the old people used to say, if something is working, you leave it alone.
Yeah, I heard that.
Because you don't know what you can get into or what you're getting or to replace it. So if it's working, you leave it alone. What I'm talking about is the present government that we have right now. There's a lot of people that is really happy with the job that they're doing, especially with the COVID and everything else. So, that's it. If it's working, leave it alone. Why change it? Like I said, you don't know what you can get, OC. And no disrespect to anybody, I'm sure they're all genuine Caymanians, like every one of us. But something seems to change. When they get in government, and I'm not sure what it is. Whether it's those 2 or 3 that is already there, that look at them and say, "Here's the way it has to be." And if you want to play ball, this is how you have to play ball. If you don't want to play ball, well, you're gonna end up like Kenneth.
So if you had 19 votes, you would cast your 19 votes for the current 19 members of the Parliament.
Well, that's kind of difficult. That's kind of difficult to do. See, No, that is not possible. But I understand what you're saying. You know, you can't have a box of apples and expect to find every apple in that box that is good, right? There's got to be, chances are
some will be sweeter than others,
and some may be spoiled. You know, you never know. So I mean, that was a good one. I got to give you credit for that.
Thanks.
Anyway, you have a good night.
All right, take care. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC number one for the Brock.
Hey, morning, number one. How are you doing?
Try and listen to you and try to live.
How's the weather up there?
Just as calm as the clock. Had some good rain earlier.
Yeah, rain was forecast for last night, 30% chance of rain here and 40% chance today. Well, I haven't been outside since about 7 o'clock this morning, but we certainly didn't have any last night.
Well, we had some up here after 10 o'clock, and then we had some early this morning.
Good for you. That means the good people in the Brock, that's where you get the rain up there.
Yeah, that's where they keep the school and wet, man. Anyway, I just called to say this. This government has done a good job, and I think they really should be thanked for it. They have really done good. From Alden right down. Because all of what it did to try to keep this disease out and everything.
Yeah, no.
And I say, everyone, go and get your shots. If you can have it, go and get it.
Yeah.
And those of you who are supposed to be wearing masks when you come here, do it. That's the way I feel about it. But see, the main reason why I call you, I want to put this on the air.
Okay.
I just want to ask the public, some of them, whenever they pass in the churches on a Sunday, and they have this heavy noise up in the car playing music, if they would just have the manners just to turn it down till after they pass the church, or before they get to it, something, you know you won't put it, and just make it be go off quietly, and then liquor wheels down, you can put your noise back up.
Yeah, it's actually an offense, you know, and they could be prosecuted for it.
Because many times up in the church, up until the last time a car went past it, I could just hear that thing just as loud as anything. So that's what I am asking. I'm not rowing, grumbling. I'm just asking those on the block that playing the music while they're going. What they call music is different to me, but anyway.
Yep.
Just turn it down, have the manners and decency when you get close to the church, and away off.
And you know, number one, they may be enjoying it now, but they will live to regret it later on, playing that loud music, because it will have an effect on their hearing later on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Especially up in the car. Yes, sir. I got to agree with you 100%.
Yep.
But some people you can't tell nothing to say. You just have to leave them alone. But I am just asking. I'm not demanding anything. I'm just asking them, please have the manners for the church when you're getting close to it and a good way off before you put it back on.
Okay. Number one, thank you very much. And thanks for the plug about the vaccine as well. We need more people pushing and encouraging people to take that vaccine.
Yes, go and get it. But if it never killed me, it don't kill nobody else. Have a good day and keep up with the good work.
Thank you very much, and you stay safe also, number one. Next, okay, Ms. Susan, we take a commercial break. We have a caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Ropers Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamp Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad, but you gave me a good laugh a little while ago when you said you were messing up. The way you said it, you sound just like a West Bear. so I said, he half West Bear. but it was a good laugh, and thank you for the laugh, too.
Thank you.
I agree with everybody should get. I have said this before on your show and Dwayne show. If we, no, I don't think I said it on your show, but forgive me. When we have children and they're just infants and we got to take them to get vaccinated at 6 weeks, I believe, we trust that vaccination for whatever it have to be.
Mm-hmm.
We trust it. I don't remember what's the first one because I only had one child, but I also taken my sister children as well.
Okay.
We trust that vaccination, and that's a child that's belonging to us. That's a child that came from our bodies. So why are the people not going to get vaccinated, especially men? Sorry, OC. I know you got yours, one of the first ones. But I only have one kidney, and adrenal gland was taken out as well as my kidney for a reason. I had 65% cancer in that kidney. So if I can take it, people that had heart problems can take it, heart surgeries can take it. Why not everybody? That we can secure ourselves in the way, and it is so well organized. Sometimes I think we should clone Dr. Clune, Dr. Lee and Dr. Hazel Brown. That woman is everywhere.
Yes,
I thank you so much. And I encourage people and stop talking foolishness about day this and day that, and then, something I heard young people going on that they ain't going to take it, but they would use other things that is not good for their body. So I beg all of you out there, go and take it. And one more thing. If I was in the district of Prospect, I would definitely vote for Mr. Miles. He has worked with the community. He is working with children all the time. Our children, like I said, only have one, as you know, but they're still our children. And he's a good person. He knows about the community. He knows about our children. He knows the ins and outs of what works and don't work. I am tired of hearing down here in West Bay what they have done for the people. It's like they're not paid to do these things, and even taking credit for things that they have not done, such as the Cineco card or our national insurance, which was, if I'm not mistaken, was done by Gilbert McLean when he was in the House. And I stand to be corrected, but far as my memory go, that's who did our national insurance. I'm not saying he never had help, but I'm sick and tired of the same old propaganda, who they help and who they help and who they help. Well, certainly didn't help West Bay and certainly didn't help me. The whole of the Cayman Islands, when we vote these people in, we're hoping that these people have the guts to say what is wrong and what is right, and to represent Cayman and their districts to the best of their ability, not cause shame and disgrace on us. Thank you, O.C., for listening.
Thank you.
Good morning to Susan.
Thank you very much. And you have a blessed day, and please stay safe as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.C. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. And yourself?
Yeah, man, I got it. Well, I just listened to that lady there, and I agree with her. I took my second shot on Monday, and the only thing that gave me was more energy. I had to do some tiling, and I never done that in years, man. And when I left the airport, man, I went home, man, and I done all of my tiling, and so that gave me energy. That's all it done for me.
Okay.
But,
on the first dose, what any adverse reaction on the when you got the first dose?
Give me my certificate, but I don't know nothing about it. Never had nothing at all.
That's good. That's good.
I mean, we're from the old school, you know. Did you have any effects?
Yeah, I had a slight fever, and took a paracetamol, and it was gone, and a little fatigue from the first one as well.
Yeah, well, I didn't have nothing because I take a lot of vitamins, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
I take zinc, I take vitamin D, vitamin C, B12 vitamin. I probably taking too much, so I don't know. But anyhow,
good for you.
I was just passing the airport, OC, and the line is almost to the edge of, like, where you go, the crosswalk there in front of the rental car, with people line up to get their shot. And it is good, and I encourage everybody to get it, because that is why people want to come to Cayman Island. They're dying to come to the Cayman Island, and I hope that they can keep the border closed as much as possible. I know it's got to open sometime, but I was reading a newspaper last week where the president of the tourism industry, he want to open up so much, losing revenue, losing this. We don't want to lose no lives, so lock it down. I went to a meeting last night in Borden Town there. I was listening to the premier speak, and he was saying that they have, you know, good plans, and they're still not in no hurry, you know, to open up the borders. No, Cayman is the safest place right now in the entire world with that. And I hope that they continue to study very well before they open up, because people are dying to come here because of jealousy. But I was just calling to let you know that the line by the airport is almost to the edge of the road, with the people line up waiting to go in at the airport to get their shot.
That's a good sign. That's a very good sign.
Yep.
Very good sign.
So,
and we hope that the Caymanians are taking advantage of the opportunity as well.
I think the premier said last night that they probably within this month they would cut down the quarantine period to 10 days because they're almost up to the mark there.
Yes, yeah.
Last night,
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
have a good weekend, OC.
Thank you very much. You do the same as well.
Okay.
Okay, any callers on hold, Miss Susan? We have enough time for another caller before our break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, Lucy.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Cresswell here.
Yes, sir.
I just want to encourage people to take the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
I took all two, mine since the 11th of February. So I didn't. The first one I had a little bit of discomfort for a day or two, but otherwise from that I didn't. With the second one, I had all good sailing.
Great.
So I would encourage people to get their 2 shots, and getting the vaccine is a whole lot better than getting the COVID.
Certainly is. Yes.
And I trust those manufacturers, I trust the doctors, and I would like to say a big thank you to all those who are involved in the front line. They're doing an excellent job.
Caller, I want to thank you very much, and again, thanks for lending your voice and thanks for lending your voice and encouraging others to come forward and get the vaccine as well. Thank you very much, callers, for that. Have enough time that I can share with you this release from the elections office. Says all electoral districts head to the polls. And why are all of the electoral districts heading to polls? Nomination submissions received from all 50 individuals seeking candidacy in the general election have now been evaluated for eligibility. The due diligence checks conducted by the elections office found that all of the candidates nominated on Monday, the 1st of March 2021, met the qualifications as set out in Section 61 of the Cayman Islands Constitution, and no candidate met the disqualification criteria under Section 62 of the Constitution. The Supervisor of Elections has deemed that all those who submitted nominations are eligible to run for office. As such, elections are being contested in all electoral districts as at least 2 candidates are running in each. The notice of contested elections will be published or was published on Thursday, the 4th of March. That was yesterday. You can find that also on elections.ky, including candidates' names, the location and times of voting at the polls, as well as the time ballots will be counted as well. So all 50 candidates have met all of the criteria for qualifications and have not fallen into that category for disqualification, and a poll will be taken in every electoral district because more than one candidate was nominated in each electoral district as well. If time allows, when we return from this commercial break, I will share with you, there's an article in one of our local newspapers speaking to the issue of quarantine voters and that they have gotten the green light or will get the green light to be able to vote. You would have heard me earlier and said, as long as your name is on the list of register of electors, you must be provided with the facility to be able to vote. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511 or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success with Roper's Janitorial. We make your business shine. 949-2511. Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting at the Webster United Memorial Church Hall in Bodden Town on Monday, 8th March, starting at 7 p.m. Free PSA testing will be available along with a presentation by guest speaker, Dr. Solomon. For more information on prostate and colon cancer awareness, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Monday, March 8th, 7 p.m. at Webster United Memorial Church Hall in Bodden Town.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last segment of the show this morning. We have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. This is Captain Owen Farrington in West Bay.
Yes, sir. Good. I didn't get a chance to speak to you the other day, but it was nice to see you, at the groundbreaking ceremony there.
Well, so see, first let me thank you for the good job you're doing in getting information out to the public.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm sure others are waiting to get on. And my prime reason for calling you this morning is to say to you that last night I went to a campaign meeting, and I attended a lot of campaign meetings, heard a lot of speeches, but I can tell you, Mr. O.C., last night, the one I went to last night was for Mr. Andre Ebanks running for West Bay South, and that meeting, it was awesome. Every speaker, you just sat and you didn't talk. You listened. I mean, it was awesome. Like I said, I have never in my life attended such a meeting as that. That gentleman is, you say, well-rounded. He's qualified in every direction. I trust that. I don't think he'll have any problem getting in West Bay South. And I trust that when he gets to Parliament, that he will be an influence for those who are weaker. I trust God will bless his efforts, and God bless you, Mr. O.C., and thanks for giving me the time.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, and have a great day, and please stay safe as well. And it is good to hear that we are getting quality candidates in every district. As you heard earlier, all 50 candidates, they have been checked out, and they have passed the smell test as far as the Constitution is concerned. So they're all eligible to contest the elections as well. And like I said earlier when I was interviewing Mr. Miles, when I was interviewing Mr. Miles earlier, that one politician in the United States spoke to the fact, or prominent politician spoke to the fact that she liked candidates who had other options in life, who could do so many other different things, had other jobs that they could take, and those are the persons that you want to look for, those with other options, because when they choose to go into politics, then those that have other options are really doing it because of their commitment, and they're doing it more from the heart as well. So it's good to know that. So we've been talking a lot about candidates. What about the voters? What about the voters? And this article in the Compass, quarantine voters get the green light, and it appears as if the supervisor of elections was interviewed on there, and the article talks about the fact that quarantine voters will be allowed to cast their ballot in the general elections using mobile or postal voting. Election Supervisor Wesley Howell has confirmed, and is quoted as saying, "We have discussed some ways that we can protect our workers, protect the community, and protect the voters, and still allow them to mark the ballot, but it wouldn't be at the polls on the 14th of April. He's quoted as saying, he said, addressing the issue, Mr. Howell said, plans are being put in place for voting to be conducted at isolation locations on 10th and 11th of April, but they would have to go through that process of applying either for a postal or mobile voting, and then speaks about the protocols that are in place for it. I won't read the whole article, but I'd just like to point out to you that with all legislation, no legislation is perfect, and you learn as you go, and as a result, you end up having to amend legislation. For instance, prior to Hurricane Ivan, there really was nothing in our Constitution that allowed for elections to take place after the date that had been set, for it. So we had to quickly have constitutional amendments made to allow for an additional 6 months, to allow for those members of Parliament to continue to sit during that period of time. Here again, the last pandemic that you had, worldwide pandemic, was in 1918, over 100 years ago. No legislation in place in relation to persons who are quarantined. So we have to make do with what we have. I'm sure that so that it is appropriately covered in legislation, I would expect some permanent amendment to be made to the elections law to allow for persons who, because they're not in really in a medical facility per se, even though it may be a facility that has been prescribed by the medical officer for health, I'm not sure, but I'm sure that from a legal standpoint, they have been able to craft a way to allow those persons to vote. Not to do so, to not craft a way for those persons in isolation to vote would have created another constitutional crisis, for us, had those persons been denied the franchise. Now, I'm not saying that someone may not challenge what is being done here, but if you're a candidate for election, it would be foolhardy of you at this point in time to challenge any attempt that is being made to ensure that persons are not disenfranchised. What do I mean by that is to make sure that we ensure that those persons whose name appear on the register of electors are not prevented from casting their vote, because that would mean, if they were prevented, that would mean a constitutional challenge, and it would be a serious constitutional challenge as well. Bearing in mind the size of the voting population in each constituency, and we know that each vote counts because the margin of victory for any candidate may be extremely small. So it is important and it is gratifying to see that a way is being carved out to allow those persons in quarantine to vote. Now, if you want to really be responsible, please don't travel unless you really have to, if you want to vote, because yes, we have to, supervisor of elections and his management team, they, as well as the government, they have to be mindful of the potential danger that they may be putting their election workers in as well. So it is extremely important. I had a thought, but maybe that isn't possible as well, because you would still be exposing someone. But my thought was, all of those persons who are in quarantine, if obviously they probably have not been vaccinated already, why not go ahead and vaccinate all of those persons who are in quarantine? But then, of course, nurses will have to administer the vaccine to them as well. But just a thought, just wanted to throw it out there as well, because if they were vaccinated, then it basically eases the situation for everyone. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I want to thank all of those persons who called in this morning. In particular, those persons who call in to encourage others to get themselves vaccinated as well. And by doing so, you are being your brothers and your sisters' keepers. You are being your brothers and your sisters' keepers by urging them to be vaccinated. And why? Because there are persons in our society who are more vulnerable than others, and by being our brothers and our sisters, we help to protect them as well. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of you.